experience. I have a friend who had to quit her job because she's divorced, she has 2 children, small children, and she couldn't continue working because when shelling was during daytime, she had to take care of her children and to go to a shelter whenever it was a very dangerous time. She had no welfare payments just because she is not a mother, like an only parent, she is divorced. And this is the difference. Again, Ukraine suspended social welfare payments, and it was again one of the things that contributed to the general situation. And of course it was difficult to survive during the blockade, especially when it was difficult to buy food on the occupied territory. So this is another category of women who are influenced in this conflict. But some statistics in general. This is for the whole Ukraine, what we have. According to the data from 2014, the average salary of women was 76.3% of the average salary of men. The same is with pensions, so practically the same. If we look at the economy, then according to the data from last year, women owned 20% of small and medium enterprises and only 2% of big enterprises. And annually we have like quite a lot of cases of violence against women registered. But again, these are only the cases that are registered according to the official statistics. And we don't have the statistics for cases of violence against men. There might be some, but I don't know which. Then, nowadays women's organizations are quite active, and this is something positive. This is a kind of hope. As for, like, last month we had that day of women against violation against women. In Ukraine there was a huge flash mob last month, which was called "I'm Not Afraid to Say," where women in social nets showed and shared their experience of violence, how they survived mainly, and what helped them to continue their life and so on. It was criticized by some people, again in the social media, just, okay, we'll keep these stories away and it's just your own business. But still the majority, of course, supported this initiative. It gave an opportunity to speak freely, to speak about what these people, these women, probably would have never said to anybody. And social media is one of the tools that helps to speak open. All in all, looking at all the categories of women who are involved in the conflict against their will in the majority of cases, I would say that this conflict will teach us to make stronger, how to be stronger, because what we understand is that women are active people, are active participants of peace process. We need more women, of course. Probably in this respect, I would concur with my colleague from Germany, who says that at some point quantity should go into quality. But at the same time, I completely agree with what was mentioned by Catherine from Brussels, that professionalism is the first thing, and women just need to see that they don't have borders, there are no limits actually, and we set these limits to ourselves artificially. Thank you for that. I will be happy to answer the questions if you have any. But again, this is my personal perspective. This is not the official point of view of Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you, Rina. Sometimes personal perspective is even more worthy than the official statistic, because that's how we could say a part of the picture which is usually hidden from the official data. And what I'm thinking that even we don't have representatives from other conflict areas, but we have participants who participate in missions, and like Elvira could share some of the experience. First question that I just want to ask to you is, beyond your personal duties, could you explain how difficult it was to convince the father of this girl to agree to the second surgery intervention? And I think that beyond the concrete conflict in these areas, big part of the girls and women are victims of the superstitions and the cultural approach. What is your observation according to your experience in Afghanistan?
Isto mislim da su žene žrtve običaja i tradicije.
Ja, but maybe
Ja. Ja lično mislim da su žene inače u našem društvu pod pritiskom običaja i tradicije.
Elvira says that she agrees with you on this, that women are often in our society, in this context, pressed by this tradition and society.
Lično ja kad sam trebala ići u misiju,
she personally was the part of the mission.
Imala sam jako puno negativnih komentara.
She received numerous negative comments.
I nisam imala podršku od okruženja.
And she wasn't supported by the environment, by her community, by the people surrounding her.
Jedina i najveća podrška koja je meni lično bila je moja porodica, suprug i moja djeca. A što se tiče okruženja i grada u kom živim i same države i ljudi, nisam imala podršku. A na veliko moje iznenađenje nisam imala podršku, recimo, od žena posebno.
Elvira says that her family, her husband, her children were her greatest support, but that was the only support that she received. That people, other people around her, her friends, the people living in the same city as she does, they didn't support her, and she was particularly surprised to see that other women couldn't understand her desire to participate in the mission.
Poznato je da su Crnogorke hrabre žene, ali u misiju do sad nijedna nije išla, pa vjerovatno je zbog toga.
Montenegrin women are believed to be very brave, but not too many. None so far has participated in a mission. So maybe that is the reason why they weren't very open to this idea of Elvira being a part of it.
Okay, thank you. Some questions and comments?
I will also have some comments on the final slide. Actually, Georgia and Ukraine share most terrible stories, and we are very near to each other regarding our past and current history. And what I wanted to say, yes, conflicts make us stronger. Some bad situation gives us good lessons. But very important, what I see from my personal experience, this is how we take into consideration those lessons what we have learned. If we are still remembering them and if we are not forgetting them too much, because after time cures everything, and sometimes the memory of society is quite short, and forgetting what happened in previous years, and it's not a problem of Georgia or Ukraine, it's a world problem, because we remember the time is time difference between First and Second World War is 20 years. After 20 years, the world still started Second World War. Georgia, as I presented during my presentation, already witnessed several wars. Why we did this? Why we could not avoid this? Maybe it is also, of course, it was not our choice to go there. But still, beside those wars, there have been lots of confrontations inside the society, inside the country. I think the most important is one, that we have to become stronger out of lessons. And second, we should remember and not forget those lessons during long periods of time, and then make our outcomes, and then make our final decisions based on past experience. We should not start and invent bicycle every time. We should look back, we should think, and then after make our policy. This is my short comment.
I would like just to repeat very wrong words from my first president, Mr. Izetbegovic. Before war in Bosnia, in 1991, he said, for war you need to. It's really, really wrong. For war, you're really just one person. And if somebody wants war, it's so difficult to avoid that one. Maybe that one is the reason that we are not able to avoid wars or to avoid conflicts. Always somebody who is attacked you, and the rest of people are in situation to protect themselves. But on the end, we are saying we have 2 or 3 or 4 sides involved in that. Nobody is speaking openly, honestly, who is that one who started everything.
In this regard, let me add a few words about one of the previous questions. What motivates one person to become a terrorist? It's linked why the conflict starts as well. Because not always is very simple. Just radicalization or just looking for some revenge because of conflict, affection. Sometimes it's happened because of the controversial messages from the Western side. Maybe few of us think why the profile of most of the migrants are men, young men, and because we're working on the field a few years already, maybe you know that it's very hard to pass this 1,000 kilometers, first of all, and secondly, it's very expensive. Because 1,000 euros, which is expensive also for people from the Western countries. And when the message is, you're very welcome, there are families, they sell almost everything they have. And they give money to their stronger son to go in the West and to find a job, to be able to bring the money back and to take probably some family members. When they fail on the border because already they are not welcome and they don't have a mechanism to continue this migration process. They cannot go back and look his father in the eyes and say, I failed. So they are trying to find another alternatives. One of these is to join some terrorist groups. We should think of this because the migration is a process which need management, not just the border management. Other questions?
I mean, I got really inspired of the book, and what came to my mind is that we are forgetting two things. One is the frozen conflict, as a conflict that is actually also ongoing, and maybe it's not always violent, but people also suffer, and their needs are not fulfilled, and should be addressed differently. And the second thing is that when we speak about Eastern and Western, about radicalization, terrorism, and democracy, I think that we are failing to understand that this class of civilization is not just Eastern and Western. When we speak about Eastern and West civilization, we forget that we are lacking of knowledge. Because, for example, one of the greatest issues in terrorism is the Sunni Shia rift. So when we speak about